awesome. Thank you so much for always having the most amazing introductions. You always know how to like make people feel so good about themselves. You are such an amazing human, honestly. Like, I just feel blessed to be partnered with you, and I could just see like everybody in the room here. Gosh, what a team you're building. And those of you who are guests here tonight, I just appreciate seeing everyone coming on here and just hearing these testimonies. And it's probably like, yeah, right. If it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true, right? Well, that's what I thought. So I am an herbalist. I helm out in Charm, Ohio, and I was introduced to this amazing herbal tincture a year ago. June of last year, actually, is right when it launched. And it was by a good friend of mine that I've never really worked with, but we kind of knew each other through social media. She's 70 years young, is a beautiful human from the inside out. People can't believe she's 70. And I'm like, yes, she is. She's a spitfire, but she has such a heart for God. And that is how we connected. She's like, she fulfilled a role in my life as mother. So I honestly, when I took a look at this, I was like, you probably shouldn't be taking this because it comes from the hops plant, and because of what you have going on in your own digestive life, I know you shouldn't be taking it. She's like, well, it's not hops. They're calling it matured hops extract. So maybe if I share you some stories or some science behind it, you could take a look at it. I'm like, okay, sure. Let me have it. Give it to me, right? Because science doesn't lie. Even though there is a lot of stuff out there, pharmaceuticals and things like that, I still utilize science to understand the herbal component of things. And so when I saw this, and I saw that it went after visceral fat, yes, this activates the vagus nerve. So right away, the big question here is, how could somebody lose 20 pounds? Another gal is losing 10 pounds. Another person's getting rid of restless leg syndrome. Another person's getting rid of a magnitude of discomfort in the body. And before I go further, let me just be compliant and say that we cannot diagnose, cure, or treat any diseases. All of the information you're hearing tonight is individual stories from individual humans, and their stories may not be exactly the story that you're going to achieve, but is their individual story. So now that I got that covered, I'm just here to tell you that this has been a godsend only in my life, but now thousands of people's lives. So in a nutshell, if you want to look something up, don't look up hops because you're going to find a lot of information that is not what our product does. Okay? First thing you can look up is, what does visceral fat do to the body? Visceral fat is responsible for over 200 life-changing illnesses. What is the number one killer in today? Heart disease. What causes heart disease? Visceral fat. So I can't say that's why people have it, but I'm just telling you that's the number one cause. This is helping people get rid of visceral fats. And visceral fat is the fat that stores around all your organs, underneath your skin, hangs out everywhere in the body where you don't need it. But it also is what stores your toxins. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is root cause healing. Oh my gosh, this is literally the answer to everybody's prayers at night. They're like, I just want to feel better. I'm going to the doctor. They're giving me a mountain full of products and I don't know what to take. And then I'm taking this medicine for this. And then because this has symptoms or side effects, I have to take this and this and this. And it's just piling up. And at the end of the day, all I'm doing is symptom treating. What if one simple product, now Kylie showed the innovative packaging that we've gotten with our owners of our company. They own the machines to this product, to this packaging. Single serve sachets, you squeeze it, add it to any beverage. And he, the owner, had a vision that one day he was going to own an exclusive product that fulfill this packaging. And he held off until he got it. He said a prayer. 2 days later, he got a phone call and somebody said, I have an extraction. I don't know what to do with it because we're a pharmaceutical company. Beautiful thing is, this extraction was discovered in 1953. We have 70 years of data, 70 years of clinical studies showing that this goes after the visceral fat for 9.5 hours. The problem with that original discovery was that it cost $1 million a gallon. So nobody could utilize it. Nobody touched it except for doctors and scientists. And they did all of the studies on double-blind human clinical studies. And so it's not just done on lab rats, not just done on animals, it's literally done on people. So that gave validity to not only myself, but lots of other practitioners. I'm talking practitioners, I'm talking functional doctors, medical doctors, pharmacists, naturopath doctors, holistic doctors, and all of the doctors. We have well over 200 different practitioners here because they can't find anything wrong with the product. Does not interact negatively with any medication. I saw some questions in here. It does not interact with any illnesses. How do we know this? Because there's a research doctor that owns a research company, put it in his database, put it up against everything that's out there. And thank goodness for the ability of computers to be able to do that, because you can't just put everybody's body in there and let's say, hey, how does this work, right? But luckily it was put up against all of that, and it showed that it's safe for a newborn baby and a 100-year-old and our dogs and our cats and my horses. The first animal I gave it to was a horse. I was like, this horse is having issues with his feet. Um, he had foundered, and so he couldn't walk. I gave it to him 3 days later. He's running out the barn. I'm like, hello, Sparky. I guess we need to put a halter on you, buddy. There's no placebo there. The second component is what Callie touched on at the beginning, is called vagus nerve activation. So what is this? This is a colorless, flavorless, odorless product. And yes, I'm going to reiterate the fact that it's tasteless. As an herbalist, I will tell you the biggest pushback is, do I have to take that tincture? How many tincture? I literally just got a t-shirt from a group of ladies that I celebrated a leadership retreat. It says, don't worry, I got a tincture for that. Yes, I am the one that if you tell me something's wrong with you, I will give you a tincture for that. But honestly, this has replaced so many amazing products that people have in their cupboard. And when you put this in any beverage, I don't care if you use water, because we do that first thing in the morning, put it in the water, chug it down, it activates the bitter receptors in the back of your tongue. So what separates this from the origin from hops? Three bitter acids. It's a very specific concentrated form of an extraction from the hops. And what we're extracting is three bitter acids. That is it. The beta, the alpha, and the gamma. Completely different component from the hops extract. And by swallowing it, and it activates the bitter receptors in the back of the tongue all the way down the esophagus to the stomach, is activating the largest cranial nerve in your body called the vagus nerve. We're just learning about the vagus nerve right now and how it is so powerful. It actually activates all 1,100 systems in your body. Yes, you got 1,100 systems in your body, my friends. Isn't that crazy? One of the most amazing is the parasympathetic nervous system. And this is why people feel what we call a form of Zen when they go on this product. They just feel happy. They're balanced. What they notice when they go on it, the first couple people, or the first couple things that they notice, that they're sleeping better. You've heard it a couple times here tonight. You notice more focus, less brain fog. And when I say more focus, I'm not talking about because they have less brain fog. I'm talking about the people who have ADD, ADHD, or scatterbrain all over the place. They're able to focus, sit down, get something done, and move on to the next thing. People are saying they're getting more done in their life than they ever did before. Digestion. Kylie said we're going to talk about poop. I will tell you, we have people that told us they pooped twice a month their entire life, are now going to the bathroom every single day regularly. Not like explosive, not unnatural, a normal bowel movement every single day ever since being on the product. Why do people suffer from constipation? I've learned over and over and over again how this is the #1 health issue in a lot of holistic health practitioners' offices. It's because your body can't go into that rest and digest state. You're living at such a high state of stress. The trauma that you're inducing into your body every day, you can't get out of that fright and flight. And so because of that, your body is exploding. It's full of inflammation because your body's never expelling all of the toxins that you're throwing in it. The air you breathe, the food you eat, the water you drink, full of toxins. And if you never allow yourself to go into rest and digest or provide your body with the necessary tools, hello, a plant that God put in the earth, and all we did was give the genius to some scientist who, because he had a vision one night, the extraction process, and now we have the exclusive rights to a product that's making in a ginormous business opportunity. I got behind this project because I wanted to help people heal. I wanted to help the mama who was laying her head down at night just wanting to feel better. And the fact that I have people putting this in their husbands or spouses' beverages. I had somebody, sorry, Kelly, that put it in their husband's Mountain Dew because he was not going to touch anything natural. And he said, I ain't going to touch anything. He put it in his Mountain Dew. And within a couple, I want to say it was a week or 2 weeks, his sleep apnea was stopped going off. And so the doctor's office called him and said, what's going on? Did you forget to turn your machine on? He's like, no, I'm just sleeping through the night. He's waking up instead of sleeping all the way through noon because he's sleeping through the night. All of a sudden he's cinching his belt and he's like, I have no idea what's going on. And she says, hey, I put this in your Mountain Dew. One of the biggest things for her was because he had the sleep apnea, because he was morbidly obese, he was very, very overweight. They were never intimate. I'm going to talk about that because it's a very big cliche that lots of people don't talk about. Men and women, they lose their libido. Men specifically. This man all of a sudden started getting happy in the morning and they're like, what is going on? and they got their love life back. This isn't an isolated story. There's stories of this over and over. And the first time I shared about how I got my libido back, all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, I'll share about mine. Oh, I'll share about mine. It is normal for women to say we don't have our libido. I'm 46 years old. I went through the perimenopause. I don't give a rat's behind if anything happens because I don't have that feeling anymore. All of a sudden, hello, it showed up. I know what's going on down there. That's exciting, right? But for a man, there was a gentleman that shared right after me, said, well, because Allison shared, I feel like I need to share. I used to take a little pill all the time to be able to be intimate with my spouse, my wife. And he goes, I'm scared to tell people because I'm a man. And I no longer have to do that in order to have that relationship with my wife. So why all the different stories? My husband's back issues, he had an MRI last year that he had multiple areas of degenerative disc, bulging discs, and arthritic spots, no hurting back. We went from having been told we need multiple surgeries to nothing. So why all the different things? Visceral fat. And it's all called homeostasis. I know a lot of people don't understand what homeostasis is a state where the body goes into a natural balance. It's a God-given ability for the body to go into that state so that no matter what you're dealing with, you're going to heal. It is not the product doing it, it is your body. When you give your body the best working machine, exactly what it craves, it will in fact go into that state of balance. So that whatever you're dealing with, it's not a matter of if it's going to work, it's a matter of when. Now, you hear these crazy stories here today. I honestly have never heard someone losing 20 pounds in 1 month. I think that's astounding. Congratulations, Chris. Wow. I bet she's like through the roof, exciting. But just because somebody has that experience doesn't mean everybody, you're going to experience something. So pay attention when you get on this product. You would literally be doing yourself a disservice if you did not give yourself a chance on this product. So my story is simple. When I took a look at this, I was in a state of total despair, meaning that our finances were down. Everyone knows me as the story of walking to the grocery store, walking into the grocery store with a baggie full of coins with my son to buy milk and bread. And it is humbling and it is very embarrassing. And I know people that don't know me think I'm full of crap. But when I tell you, when I saw this, I had to tell the person that reached out to me, I can't afford to get him. I'm going to have to wait. It's not even expensive. It's so inexpensive. But when I saw this, they were promoting this strictly as weight loss. So it is a little bit cliche. We shared about that tonight, but that's all they focused on. And I'm like, this is so much more. So all that to be said, we said yes, got started in October, from June to October. I started sharing and it grew and it grew and it grew. I went from walking into a grocery store with a baggie full of coins to now earning over 6 figures a month in commissions because of one product changing people's lives. And I'm telling you, if this little country bumpkin who literally does not have any type of like social media following where people are going to buy from me, I have an explosive social media following because I am funny. I showed reels, I share horse stuff. And so all the people follow me for that. They're not buyers. It's because I've showed up. And so for me to share that, I'm not sharing this to brag. I'm sharing this with you to show you what's possible. I saw something and I believed in it. And I followed a vision that God gave me in 2022. And he said, sister, there's going to be an herbal product that you are going to be in front of that's going to help change the trajectory of the world. And if you're sitting here and you're thinking, I could use a Janet, I could use a Chris, what if I know a Pamela? What if I know any one of these beautiful women that spoke here tonight? What if you were them? Julie reached out and said, I know you're dealing with something so traumatic in your life. And she probably would be like, no, she ain't going to do this. She's on all this medicine and she's had a very, very hard life, all the things that she's going through, but she chose to reach out. And because of this, her friend was able to share her testimony tonight. And all I'm saying is if you are here, it's not by mistake. So thank you so much, Kylie, for having me hop on here tonight. I love and appreciate you so, so much.